The history of the mining that occurred in northeast Oklahoma cannot be told without an understanding of the O-Gah-Pah people. Those that first called this place home. The O-Gah-Pah were hunters, gatherers, and artisans that were known for their hospitality as well as being fierce warriors. They descended into Arkansas sometime in the 1500s, according to sources, though the first recorded encounter with European settlers did not occur until 1673 when French explorers Jacques Marquette and Louis Joliet met them on the banks of the Mississippi. The O-Gah-Pah lived in villages and built longhouses occupied by several families. The state of Arkansas is named after them, derived from the Illini word Arkansas, meaning people of the south wind. Over the next century and a half, the O-Gah-Pah and European settlers, particularly the French, would develop a budding friendship and help bring immense trade to the area. The O-Gah-Pah would protect the French from hostile tribes in other nations, and in return, the French would introduce them to advanced weaponry, tools, and other items. A smallpox epidemic and raiding parties from other tribal missions would see the once mighty O-Gah-Pah face issues with depopulation, but the trade and friendship would last until the United States bought the territory from the French in the Louisiana Purchase. In total, the O-Gah-Pah would sign 4 treaties with the United States, but it would be the third, the Treaty of 1833, that would see the O-Gah-Pah moved to their final home in Oklahoma. In the 1830s, trappers and traders making their way through Indian country would hand-dig galena ore, a principal source for lead shot. However, it wasn't until 1891, just outside of modern-day Peoria, Oklahoma, that the first recorded deposit of lead was found after the Peoria Mining Land Company out of New Jersey opened shafts in the area.
There are mean things happening in this land. There are mean things happening in this land. There are mean things happening. There are mean things happening. Mean things happening in this land.
The Ozarks lie in the belly of America, midway between the oceans, 600 miles north of the Gulf of Mexico. And in these mountains live American men, American women, Americans for 100 years. From the Ozarks come the greater number of the mine workers, who live now in a strange country.
In 1905, 2 brothers testing spots for a new well happened upon an area that kept tearing up their drill bits. This area would be the first discovery of lead and zinc ore deposits in Pitcher, and the brothers, George and Alfred Coleman, would become synonymous with the territory. The area, primarily within the O-Gah-Pah Reservation, would make millionaires out of many, including some O-Gah-Pah landowners, but the overmining and lack of accountability would leave majority parts of the O-Gah-Pah Reservation in ruins. After ore was discovered in Pitcher in 1905, the area became a booming mine town. Buildings quickly went up, homes were erected, and opportunities seeking their way in life flocked to the area. By the 1920s, the population of Pitcher, Oklahoma had exploded to nearly 15,000. The mining years would see jobs for more than 15,000 individuals. Between 1917 and 1947, more than $20 billion in ore was produced in the area, accounting for more than 50% of the lead and zinc metal consumed in World War I. As the mining decreased, Pitcher's population would follow.
and the people here. These people. Their towns laid out in the shadow of the chat piles. Chat piles are tailing piles. Tailing piles are crushed rock. This rock is waste rock, rock from which the ore has been extracted. Live towns, dead towns, towns without a movie, towns like Carden and Hockerville and Trees, towns like Pitcher and Galena and Prosperity. Unpaved streets and streets made of tailings. Churches at the end of a mud-filled street.
As of 2011, only 6 inhabitants remained in what is now known as one of America's most toxic towns.
The fate of a school district. The population of one small Oklahoma town has dropped dramatically in recent years. We're talking about Pitcher, where the one-time booming zinc and lead mining district is now a town with mountains of contaminated mine waste, sinkholes, and no students.
In 2012, they were awarded a multi-million-dollar contract from the Environmental Protection Agency to remove the large piles of chat, the byproduct of mining waste that dots the landscape in Pitcher and the nearby towns of Carden and Zinkville.
The Howe pile was a constant contributor to mining waste during high flow events and also during base flow conditions. Howe released heavy metals into Tar Creek for decades. Through its efforts, O-Gah-Pah Nation was able to remove the marketable chat and a significant portion of Howe and dispose of the waste at the Central Mill Tailings Pond Repository. To this day, hundreds of thousands of gallons of mine-influenced water discharged per day. The mines surrounding the area have been filled with contaminated water, and though O-Gah-Pah Nation has ideas on how to help prevent future harm, the sad truth is, we're a long way from that future. So what is the end goal here? To restore what once was, the land, the water, the life that fills this space for all generations to come.